And let's do this. Can you hear me? Just say yes. I have my team on here also as well. I want to thank them. And I know it's really bright here, like very, very bright. So I'm conscious of that. And the internet, I'm in New York City right now. Where are you? Where are you watching this right now? Okay, let's begin.
Let's imagine if we could access 100% of our brain's capacity.
I wasn't high, wasn't wired, just clean. I knew what I needed to do and how to do it.
I know Kung Fu.
Sure.
Okay, let's do this. Let's unleash.
All right, let's get started. I want to thank you for joining me for my, the lighting in here is crazy. How's everyone doing? I'm going to answer some burning questions. I'm going to do a little bit of a book reading today. Before we get started, if we're new friends, my name is Jim Kwik of Kwik Learning. I help people learn quickly. I want to thank you for joining me for the live virtual book party. This is it. We're supposed to go on a huge tour on Barnes & Noble to so many of your cities, and but I get to see all of you right now here. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Instagram. I have 3 cameras recording this. We're going to go about an hour on this, and I'm going to answer some burning questions, share with you, and do some readings out of my brand new book, Limitless. Upgrade your brain, learn anything faster, and unlock your exceptional life. Because back in school, I was definitely not one of the exceptional kids. My teachers would have been surprised if I read a book, much less wrote a book. So I want to thank you, everyone who's watching this right now. Brenna, thank you. From Jersey, Mike, thank you. Carrie, thank you. Wow, so many friends here. And my team is also online. So tag your friends, share this, take a screenshot if you're watching Instagram so you can post it. And everybody here, let's get started. This is the book. We are going to be giving away books during this book party. And this is a party of 1, but this is a party of countless of you who are watching here. This is all of us together. And I want to thank you so much for making this book what it is. I wrote this book for you. I actually dedicate this book. This is the chapter, the sections of the book. And I actually dedicate this book. The first thing says, for my readers and students and the limitless heroes inside you. Thank you for your time and trust. This one's for you. And this one's for you. We are donating 100% of my author proceeds to Pencils of Promise, which is an amazing organization providing schools, classrooms, books, teachers for girls and boys who do not have access to education, also providing healthcare and clean water. So this book is a real passion project for me. It's 28 years in the making. And this is the number 1 question that I've always gotten from people is, Jim, where's your book? And I finally have an answer. It's at limitlessbook.com. And so I want to thank you for supporting this book. Let's dive into this. I'm going to be gifting, my team is on right now watching this with you on Facebook and Instagram. And so they're going to see who's really active, and they're going to send private messages to people. And we're going to be gifting away not only books that you'll be receiving. By the way, by a show of hearts, how many of you already have this book, or how many of you have books? But based on how engaged you are. And then we're also giving away shirts. And people ask all the time, Jim, where do you get those shirts? Maybe someone on my team could put shop.jimkwik.com. But my thing is, Jim, why do you wear these shirts? I wear these shirts and I gift these shirts to my friends and our students and our podcast listeners, because I feel like it's so important to what you see, you take care of, right? What you see, you take care of. You see your hair, you might see your skin, you see your clothing, you take care of it, but you don't see the most important thing, with your brain. So I wear it on my chest. People say, wear your emotions on your sleeve. We wear our brains on our chest. So we're gonna be gifting away these, and it has some of just my just sayings that just light me up also as well. To people who are active, they'll send you a message. So make sure you're following at Kwik Learning on Facebook and also on Instagram, so you can see those messages when they send them to you. They're going to ask you for your mailing address, and also we're going to be gifting 3 things. So we're going to be gifting books during this virtual party. And then we're also going to be gifting shirts. And I just have so many of these shirts. So many of these shirts. And then also we are going to be gifting our online programs. For some of you know, we publish in 195 countries speed reading, memory, focused student programs, and we're going to be gifting those out also as well. So it's a celebration, and where I'm bringing the gifts to you, because our mission in the spirit of Limitless is not about being perfect, it's about progressing and advancing beyond what you believe is possible. So not only do I put the speed reading, memory techniques, everything in here that I teach, but also it's unlocking the Limitless model. And so I hope you have the book should be shipping right now. It's been weird because the official book date is today, April 28th. Today also, by the way, is National Superhero Day. So to all my superhero friends out there that watch X-Men and Avengers and love that kind of thing, I believe that the world needs modern day superheroes that offer real hope and real help to the world. And I'm not talking about shooting lasers out of your eyes or leaving tall buildings, but I'm talking about the limitless resource we have on planet Earth. The limitless resource we have on this planet is human potential. The sky's not the limit, it really is your mind. And here's the thing, there's no limit to your creativity, there's no limit to enthusiasm, there's no limit to your imagination, there's no limit to human determination, there's no limit to how we could come together. Right now, these difficult times, they could define you, these difficult times can diminish you, or these difficult times can develop you. Ultimately, you decide. There's a quote in Limitless, I love this quote, so I bookmarked it. It says, life is the C between B and D. If you take nothing out of this, not even my quote, it's from a French philosopher. Life is the C between B and D. And B is birth, D is what? D is death, and C is choice. Life, happiness, everything comes down to these choices and the choices that we make daily. So I'm going to talk about, in this book party, the choices that we make. And the choices in terms of what we think, the choices of our dominant question, the choices of what we put in our body, the choices of what we put in our mind. Because while viruses and fear are contagious, so is positivity and performance. So is kindness, and kindness is free. So sprinkle that stuff everywhere. So if you're just joining me, again, my name is Jim Kwik. I'm author of the brand new book, comes out today, called Limitless, Upgrade Your Brain, Learn Anything Faster, and Unlock Your Exceptional Life. And I'm gonna start with a reading here, because one of the chapters we talk about, now there's a chapter here, again, on all this, it's a textbook for human potential. And if you have this book, by the way, do you have this book? Yes, no, take a screenshot of this. I want to get you this book because you need to read this book. I'm going to read this section here. It's on the ultimate motivation formula, all right? And if this is brand new to you, then write this down. If you've heard me talk about this, I'm going to go one step further, okay? So I just chose to quit my job. Okay, good. I'm hoping that's a good thing. Yes, 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 not yet. So the power you always have is choice. You always have a choice on what to focus on. You always have a choice on your mindset. You always have a choice on your focusing on your purpose, the things that you do to get energy. You have a choice in your steps. And I want to talk about motivation. So this is the formula for human motivation. And I'm starting with this because a lot of people feel like they're stuck in a box. And if you feel like you're stuck in a box, imagine a box, and there's 3 dimensions that keep you in that box. So think about an area of your life, because this book's on accelerated learning, but it's a framework for human potential, not just accelerated learning. And this model here that I'm going to share with you, the 3 parts to becoming limitless, and then we'll gift people out. By the way, if you're just joining us, we are gifting away these books, these shirts, and our online program, just as a thank you for being part of our community, for allowing our team to do what we do by meeting our purpose. I talk about in the book, there's a whole chapter on purpose, and there's an area of talking about passion and how sometimes passion and purpose are interchanged. But really, when we're talking about functionally, is passion is what lights you up. And learning lights me up because I was not a good learner back in school. Again, if you're just tuning in, my teachers would have been surprised if I read a book, much less wrote a book. So if passion is what lights you up, your purpose could be what lights up other people. So my passion now is learning, and my purpose is teaching other people how to learn. I think if there's one skill to master in the 21st century, it's your ability to learn better. So right now, I am in New York City. I live between New York City and Los Angeles, and I wanted to reach out to you because right now, this is great because all the people who are watching on Facebook and Instagram and other places and our student community, you wouldn't fit in all of my home. So this is wonderful. So we're celebrating together. We have balloons all up on the ceiling everywhere because my family is awesome and they are literally the wings beneath my wings. But I'm going to talk about being a butterfly and how we're going through a cocooning portion right now. And it's a great metaphor because while the beauty is in the butterfly, you know the growth happens. Where? In the cocoon. And it's through the struggle that we gain our strength. So what are you going to be focused on right now? I want to ask you to focus on these three things. And so I want you to draw 3 circles out, and you're like, what kind of party makes me take notes, right? But I want you to have this framework in your mind because if you walk away with nothing else, I want you to remember these are the 3 keys to liberating yourself and doing what you believe is impossible. And I know it's a big statement, but this book is not only the latest neuroscience applied towards accelerated learning and cognitive performance, but this is like 28 years of field testing this. Again, from children with severe learning challenges to seniors who are struggling with dementia. I lost my grandmother while I was going through my traumatic brain injuries as a child to Alzheimer's. And so this is something I'm very passionate about. That's why the proceeds go towards education for kids and Alzheimer's research. Love you and transcendence. Thank you. This is about transcending, by the way. If you saw that docu-series, I want to thank you because and the Broken Brain series, with Dr. Mark Hyman. It's about transcending. This is about ending the trance. Transcend. End the trance. Ending this mass hypnosis propagated through marketing or through media that we're not enough. When I was 9 years old and a teacher pointed to me and said, that's the boy with the broken brain, that label became my limit and it put me in a box. So I want you to imagine right now that you're in a box. I want you to imagine what area do you feel like you're being held back? What area? Let's make this interactive here. Is it in your relationships? Is it in your health and wellness? Is it in your finances? Do you feel like you're held back in your impact, in your business, in your career? Where do you feel like you're not making progress? I want you to check in on 3 areas of your life around that area. So 3 forces, 3 circles. And these 3 circles, they intersect. So imagine Mickey Mouse, 2 ears intersecting and a face that's intersecting. And the first one is your mindset. The first circle is your mindset. I'm going to give you the framework and then I'm going to read a couple of excerpts out of this book that's going to be very relevant to this. So the mindset is let's say your mindset are your assumptions and attitudes about something. Your assumptions and attitudes about something. Maybe it's about the world, maybe it's about yourself, maybe it's about work. What would fall in that circle of mindset? What you believe is possible. What you believe you're capable of. Because those could be 2 different things, right? You could believe something is possible. I've seen Jim on stage memorize 100 people's names and 100 words, 100 numbers. Or you could believe it's possible. But the second question is, do you believe it's possible for you? Do you believe you're capable of it? And the third thing that I would say falls in the mindset is not only what you believe is possible, what you believe you're capable of, is what you believe you deserve. Because you are like a thermostat. And whatever setting you have there, all behavior is belief driven. And I could teach you the final circle here are methods. Like I could teach you how to remember people's names, right? We talk about, 10 different ways you can remember people's names in the memory chapter. The memory chapter is the largest chapter in this book. But if your mindset is, I'm not smart enough, your mindset is, I have a horrible memory, your mindset is, I'm too old, you're going to be still stuck in that box because you have to take care of that mindset. So in this book, I go through a process I take you through called unlimiting. I want you to write down that word, unlimiting, not unlimit or unlimited. Unlimiting is the active process of removing limits in your life. And I believe that the majority of limits that we face are invisible and they are learned. And because they are learned, they can be unlearned. So in the chapter, in the section here, right, I take you on the hero's journey. How many of you are familiar with Joseph Campbell's work, The Hero's Journey? So if you look at this, I literally modeled the hero's journey for you. And the hero's journey is going from the ordinary to the extraordinary world, and you have trials, you face, dragons, and you meet a mentor. So you could be Dorothy in Wizard of Oz, you could be Neo, you could be Luke. I want to be Morpheus. I want to be your Yoda. All right, I want to be your Mr. Miyagi, if you will, in this process. And I want to train you and equip you with this, because the end of this journey, at the end of this journey is you find the treasured elixir. And so you go through, and in the Matrix, Neo comes back into the Matrix, and he makes the phone call, and he says, like, I'm gonna show everybody here a world that you don't want them to see, a world where there are no limits, where anything and everything is possible. That's my goal for you. Now, here's the thing. As we go through this, your mindset is the first place we start, because there are lies. In this section, as I take you through mindset, there are 7 lies to learning. And we start with freeing your mind. So that's the first section. The second section we go through, and I want this book, talking about movies. Today is National Superhero Day. You remember Lord of the Rings? Did any of you watch Lord of the Rings? Now I'm gonna get really geeky here, because this is like my 9-year-old, birthday party kind of feeling, giving birth for this. Lord of the Rings, there was one ring that ruled the other rings. Do you remember that? So my thing is not that this book rules anything. My thing is that this book the phrase is the ring that rules them all. I want this book to be the book that helps you read all other books. This book will actually show you how to read all other books. Because most of you go out, let's just be honest, because I'm your coach. It's been my experience of 28 years of teaching this, that a lot of you are really good at buying books. You went out and you went to limitlessbook.com, and our team could put it in there in the description, limitlessbook.com, and I understand on Instagram it's backwards, right? You could go to limitlessbook.com and you're really good at buying books. Like I thought that even when stores were open, that bookstores should come with shopping carts like you do at a grocery store. Some of you are really good at buying books, but that's a different skill set than reading a book. Can we agree? And so I wanted to create a book. I want this book to be the most read book of 2020, not the most bought book, right? But the most, maybe it will be if you can share it and give it to somebody who you feel like could have a little bit more limitless in their life. You could be a superhero to them by showing them their power. Because the ultimate superpower that you have is the power of your mind. The challenge of your mind doesn't come with an owner's manual. So finally, this is an owner's manual for your brain. And in it, I reveal literally what the world's top performers are doing, how they're thinking, how they're learning to achieve world-class results. But going back to the power of your mindset, I go through this, and I actually show you how to read this book. Because there's a whole section of this book, it's really crazy, on how to read it. It's chapter 4. How to read, and I know you can't see all this on Instagram, how to read and remember this and any other book. And because I want this book to be the book to help you read all other books. So you don't just buy a book and it sits on your shelf and it becomes shelf help, not self-help, right? This is meant to be, this is a manual for you to follow. And my thing was, initially when I turned this book in, there are 2 things that happened. First of all, it was a book all on methods. How to learn languages, how to remember names, how to learn facts and figures and formulas, how to speed read 3 times faster and have better comprehension, how to be able to think clearly, make good decisions, how to be able to focus and study technical material. And it was a really, really amazing book. I stand by all of those skills. I think they're natural superpowers, mental superpowers we could all have and be able to employ, especially now with businesses going out of business, and you have to learn new careers and learn new skills and learn new subjects. But the other part of it was, I asked myself the question, if somebody just found this book and read it cover to cover, would they get the results they're hoping for? And the truth is, the answer is no. Because you're missing the mindset and the second M, which is the motivation. If you are not taught how to unlimit yourself and go from a limited mindset to a limitless mindset, then you're only gonna be able to achieve what you believe is possible. And if you can't tap that reservoir of drive and motivation, if you procrastinate, if you don't do the things you know you should do, then you're not going to get the results, because many people know what to do, but they don't do what they know. In this book, and I'm going to start reading it right now, I talk about lies, and these are the lies you tell yourself, okay? These are the 7 lies of learning. The 7 lies of learning. And these are the 7 globally accepted belief systems, BS, belief systems that people, they just accept that intelligence is fixed. You take a test when you're 8 years old, and that's your intelligence when you're 88 years old. Or, when I believe that intelligence is fluid, right? They believe that genius is born, when we know genius is built, that genius leaves clues. And I show you how to dissolve those limiting unconscious beliefs and then rewire your brain with the limitless belief, because all behavior is belief driven. Again, if I teach you how to read faster or remember names and you believe it's not possible, or you believe you're not capable of it, or you believe you don't deserve it, or you believe you're too old or too stupid, you're not going to get the results. So let's go into these 7 lies. One of those lies is that knowledge is power. It's a huge lie, right? Because the truth is, I don't know people telling you this, but as your coach, I don't want to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. Knowledge is not power, it is potential power. It only becomes power when you utilize it, when you put it into play, when you act on it, right? That you want to think like a person of action, you want to act like a person of thought, but common sense is not common practice. So how do you motivate yourself? All right, there's a 3-step formula. P times E times S3. And again, if you're just joining us right now, this is my book party. Welcome. We are gifting these books to those of you who are commenting. My team is actively there right now at Kwik Learning, and it helps if you're following them, because so they can send you messages, and they're going to ask for your email. We're gifting 3 things: books, some of them signed. We are gifting T-shirts because people ask all the time, Jim, you just said knowledge is not power, but knowledge times action is power. We're going to be gifting that to people, and also we're going to be gifting out our speed reading, our memory programs also as well. And so our team, this one says, I don't know which one to say. This one says brains are sexy. So, and these come in kid sizes and also for male and female. And if you're interested in looking at the selection, if you do win, it's at shop.jimkwik.com. We donate proceeds there also as well. With everything that we do, we donate proceeds to children's education and Alzheimer's research. But going back to motivation, if you find yourself not following through, remember this: something's missing. Either P times E times S3. Now I'm going to go through this really quick, and then I'm going to do readings out of this book. P stands for your purpose. You know, one of the people who supported this book, the foreword is written by Dr. Mark Hyman. How many of you know who Dr. Mark Hyman is? He's written like 13 New York Times best-selling books, amazing. And he says, there's no genius pill, but Jim gives you the process for unlocking your best brain and brightest future. He writes the foreword of the book. But when we're talking about purpose, when I think about purpose, you know, like one of the things is start with why. And how many of you read Start With Why? How many of you have seen Simon Sinek's TED Talk? And Simon here on the back cover, it says, Jim makes us smarter. I know because Jim taught me techniques to reframe how I understand my own limits and learn how to tap unused capacity in my brain. And yes, I am dropping names because these are people that I learned from. These are people that I respect. And also Sir Ken Robinson, for those of you who just geeked out when we got that testimonial. But P times E times S3. So the P is purpose. If you want to motivate yourself, here's the thing: you need to feel in your mind and in your heart and your emotions, you need to feel the benefits and the rewards for following through, and you need to allow yourself to feel the consequences of not following through. All right, the evidence that you're motivated, here's the thing: it's not what you say, it's not even what you feel, it's what you do. Somebody could say they're motivated, or they say they feel motivated, but they're not acting, they're not really motivated, because knowledge times action equals power. And so what's missing? Check into the P. Let's go through a thought experiment. Let's play a game. Let's say we're trying to build the ultimate motivated human being together. All right? Now, the first element that this human being must have is purpose. They need a reason to work out. they need a reason to take that cold shower. In the book, I talk about my morning routine, and I go more in depth than I do on videos about my morning routine. I believe that the treasure you seek is hidden in your daily routine. First you create your habits, then your habits create you. But often we aren't conscious of our habits. So really this book is about self-awareness, because self-awareness is really a superpower. And so, would love to complete your course. Purpose. And everyone who's interacting and everything here, you will be contacted, many of you, we're giving away so many books, so many shirts, and so many online speed reading memory programs, and I just want everyone to be able to celebrate, and really this day. This is a day that's like years in making, because the other thing besides this book mostly going to be methods until we upgraded it before we turned it in, is we were going to delay the launch to the fall after everything hopefully subsided. But I was like, no, there's no way I'm going to do that, because this book is more than a book on speed reading and learning languages, remembering names. This is a book about manage your mind in difficult times. This is a book about supporting your children when they're home because they can't go to school. This is a book about how to optimize your productivity when you're working from home. This is a book about learning new skills and subjects because our careers or our businesses might be in jeopardy and we have to change and retool. And I think the number one skill to master in the 21st century, you'll hear me say it over and over again, it's your ability to learn. Because if you learn how to learn, you could grant all your learning wishes. You could apply it towards Mandarin, martial arts, money, management, marketing, everything, and music, and not just things that start with M also as well. So we are, I won't announce the winners here, but because my team is on there at Kwik Learning, so they see who's most active here, and they will message you on the platform you're watching this. I have 3 cameras on right now, and then we will contact you and get your shipping information, be able to send you your gifts for participating at my party, because parties have like party favors, right? And so that's our gift to you. And we are also donating 100% of our proceeds, the author proceeds, to charity. Because it's not about, here's a formula: learn, earn, return. Learn, earn, return. If you want to get out of fear that's going on right now, chronic fear shrinks your brain. Chronic fear actually makes you more susceptible to colds, to flus, to viruses. It compromises your immune system. And the antidote, I think, to fear are 2 things: service and gratitude. So how can you contribute your time, talent, treasure? Learn so you can earn, so you can return and make a difference. How can you invest your time, talent, treasure in making a difference? And also gratitude. And here's an exercise for gratitude, right? In the book, I talk about the 4 G's to a mindset. One of them is giving, right? And one of them is gratitude. And so you want to grow so you have more to give. And the 4th one is grit, just in case you're wondering. But it's in that gratitude that rewires your brain. And so in giving, it rewires your brain because you put your attention on somebody else and you can't feel that same level of fear because you're looking to serve. Even for me, when I'm talking about cocooning, it's a perfect metaphor because we're going through a metamorphosis right now. We're going through a life cycle change. And some people cling on to the way something used to be in their past, and as opposed to being in the present and building towards the future and being in the cocoon. And while the beauty is in the butterfly, the struggle happens in the cocoon. And so what are we doing, so we can come out of this as best we can, so we could soar to the next level? Because I think we're all in the same adventure together. When I say the hero's journey, and I map it out in this book, multiple places of where we're going with this book, is when we go on this journey together, we are on the journey of realizing and revealing our fullest potential in whatever form that takes, all right? So I want to start first, with an exercise on gratitude. What if the only things you had tomorrow were the things you expressed gratitude for today? What if the only things you have tomorrow are the things you express gratitude for today? And so, by the way, Daniel Spencer, Susan Bromwich, Abby Cooner, Linda, Cesar, they're posting in my chat who's winning, so I can make those announcements. So you're watching, you got prizes, expect to be contacted, and I'll go through some of these names, but they scrolled over there, so I'll go through some of these names. But I want to thank you for showing up, because success for me comes into 2 parts. You're like, Jim, you're jumping all over the place. And I can because it's my party and I can if I want to. This is the thing. Success is half of it is showing up, right? Because most people don't show up for life. The other half is playing full out. You have to play full out. But what if, going back to gratitude, what if the only things you had in your life tomorrow were the things you expressed gratitude for today? If you wanted to feel truly wealthy right now, truly wealthy, what if you made a list and counted all the things you have that money can't buy? All right, and sometimes it takes an outside perspective, like something going on with your external environment, to make us check in with our internal environment. You've heard me talk about the 5 C's to cocooning, and I've talked about a couple of them right now, but one of them, besides care, not physical hygiene, is mental hygiene, right? Be able to control your focus, because your mind has an algorithm, just like Facebook and Instagram, whatever scrolling through. If you like and interact, engage with all the cat posts, Instagram and Facebook's gonna show you a whole lot more cats. Well, if you engage in just what's dark and threatening all the time, I'm not saying don't be aware of what's going on, it just starts showing you more darkness. What happens though is you can't focus on what's light. You can't focus on what you could be grateful for. You're not focusing on opportunity and possibility. And so my questions to you are very deliberate. What if the things you only have tomorrow were the things you express gratitude for today? What if you counted all the things that you have in your life that money can't buy? And gratitude and service, for me, gratitude and giving, are the antidotes to fear. And we know the consequences: chronic stress, it shrinks your brain; chronic fear, it suppresses your immune system. What you appreciate appreciates. Remember that. What you appreciate in life appreciates. It grows, right? And so that's the natural law, and I appreciate you. And so going through here, and my team is sending me all the winners. You have a lot of winners here. Of prizes at this party. But going back to the power of your purpose, start with your why. Allow yourself to feel the consequences of doing it, and allow yourself to feel the consequences of not doing it. Now my mind went into this thought experiment. You are building the ultimate motivated human being, right? The ultimate motivated human being. And I'm shifting from 3 cameras here. The ultimate motivated human being, if you just have purpose, will you always act? The answer is no, because you could be missing the E in the equation. P times E times S3 is ultimate motivation. E stands for energy. Let's talk about your motive for action here, right? You're not acting. Let's say you want to work out, something very simple, or you want to read. And we want to get people, again, if you're just joining us, this book will help you read faster. And so I want this book to help you learn all other books. But you're not reading every day. Why? Maybe because you didn't sleep for a few nights because you have a newborn and you have no energy. Or maybe you ate a big processed meal and you're in a food coma and you can't read because you're just tired and exhausted. All right, so in this book, I talk about the 10 keys to clear brain fog and fatigue, and really to add energy into your mind and your body. All right, now think about procrastination. If you have a big enough purpose and you have energy, are there times you will still procrastinate? Are there times where you won't be motivated? And I thought one more exception. If that thing that you want to do, that thing is too big, or it's too intimidating, or it's too unclear, you're not going to do it. You're not going to be motivated. You're not going to do that thing, even if you have purpose and you have energy, because you have to break it down into the last element of motivation, which is S3, small, simple step. A small, simple step. So maybe it's not working out an hour a day. Maybe it's putting on your running shoes. Maybe it's not reading for 45 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day. Maybe it's just opening the book. Everyone could do that, right? That's a small, simple step. Maybe it's reading one line in the book. Now, in here, many of you know we have a podcast, tens of millions of downloads, and I've interviewed all these experts on habits, how to create habits. So I've interviewed everyone from James Clear, Atomic Habits, to Dr. BJ Fogg, to Tara Mackey, to who are Wild Habits, all these great books on habits. And I talk about how to create habits, because first you create your habits, then your habits create you. And here's the thing, little by little, a little becomes a lot. So how do you break down something into such a small piece where you cannot? Here's the question to get to your small, simple step. Simple question. What is the tiniest action that you could take right now that gives you progress towards that goal where you cannot fail? What is the tiniest action you could take that will give you progress towards that goal where you cannot fail, because it requires very little effort, very little energy? Let me give you an example. And I hope you're hydrating right now. Some of you have your brain power smoothie. not sure where to start. Overwhelmed from feeling where to start, Jody, perfect example. Here's the thing. Thinking is good. Overthinking and wanting to be perfect is not good. Everybody needs to simplify this. I'm saying motivation is 3 things. Feeling purpose, having energy, and small, simple steps. Let me give you an example. In this section, I'm going to talk about, podcast guest. Can everyone hear me all right and see me okay? Here we go. Take baby steps. Podcast guest, Dr. B.J. Fogg. By the way, when you go to limitlessbook.com, and our team could post it right now, limitlessbook.com, we have free bonus chapters on Limitless for your children, Limitless for your team, and also we're doing a book club next month. So when all of you have your book, we're going to spend 1 week on each of the 4 sections of the book. You see the 5th section here, but that's a surprise. And also you get a 10-day audio video program, a book summary on this book, because my goal is for this book to be the most read book of 2020. Maybe it's not the most bought book, but you're going to read it, because most people don't read it because they're not good readers, if that makes sense. You're good at buying a book, but you were never taught how to read the book, because you're not born with the ability to read. You were taught it in class. And how old were you the last time you took a class called reading? 6 or 7. So most of us still read like a 6 or 7-year-old. So that's why I gift you these things, so it could be the most read book. So podcast guest Dr. B.J. Fogg, the founder and director of the Behavior Design Lab at Stanford University and author of Tiny Habits, has been studying human behavior for more than 2 decades. And by the way, this 10-day program, you're going to love it, that you get at limitlessbook.com. You ready? What he's learned is that only 3 things can change a person's behavior long term. One is to have an epiphany, which very few people can summon on demand. Another is to change your environment, which is possible for nearly everyone, but not necessarily feasible at any given time. The third, as Dr. B.J. Fogg puts it, take baby steps. This is what I call small, simple steps, right? I explained it this way in this story, all right? So I want you to think about this story, and you could close your eyes and just listen to this story. Story time with Jim Kwik. All right, you ready? Instagram winners, the match among Alex Brass, Sabrina Niaz, Vone. You've all won stuff, so all the names that I've been saying throughout this thing, you're all going to be contacted and more. But my team's chat's going like, I missed some of those names there. All right, remember this story. I want you to just imagine this. A king was watching a great magician perform his act. The crowd was enthralled, and so was the king. At the end, the audience roared with approval, and the king said, "What a gift this man has, a God-given talent." But a wise counselor said to the king, "My lord, genius is made, not born. This magician's skill is the result of discipline and practice. These talents have been learned and honed over time with determination and discipline." The king was troubled by this message. The counselor's challenge had spoiled his pleasure in the magician's arts. "Limited and spiteful man, how dare you criticize a true genius? As I said, you either have it or you don't, and you most certainly don't." The king turned to his bodyguard and said, "Throw this man into the deepest dungeon." And he added for the counselor's benefit, "So you won't be lonely, you can have 2 of your kind to keep you company. You shall have 2 piglets as cellmates." From the very first day of his imprisonment, the wise counselor practiced running up the steps of his cell to the prison door, carrying in each hand a piglet. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the piglets steadily grew into sturdy boars. And with every day of practice, the wise counselor increased his power and his strength. One day, the king remembered the wise counselor and was curious to see how imprisonment had humbled him. He had the wise counselor summoned. When the prisoner appeared, he was a man of powerful physique, carrying a boar on each arm. Can you imagine that? Carrying a boar on each arm. The king exclaimed, "What a gift this man has, a God-given talent." The wise counselor replied, "My lord, genius is made, not born. My skill is the result of discipline and practice. These talents have been learned and honed over time with determination and discipline. Okay, so I go into, in this book here, can you see me still? Just give me a heads up if you could still see me, because somebody is posting that the Facebook feed is not going. Can you see me? Is it resetting? Tell me if you could see me. I know, okay, so I know on Instagram, I can see the hearts, you're there. It's refreshed, it's back, okay. Part of me also, I'm in New York City, and the internet here has been a little bit interesting, to say the least. So again, the wise counselor replied, my lord, genius is made, not born. My skill is the result of discipline and practice. These talents have been learned and honed over time with determination and discipline. And so here's the lesson here. Small, simple steps is like this wise counselor taking small, simple steps every single day, carrying a piglet that grows, that through our struggles can lead to strengths, that our challenges can lead to change. And what you need is that small, simple step, because inch by inch, it's a cinch. Yard by yard, it's way too hard. Inch by inch, it's a cinch. Yard by yard is way too hard. When I talk about the 5 C's to cocooning, I'll give you a quick review. Quick KWIK review. 5 C's. This is what I'm coaching clients on when we're cocooning, because when you're cocooning, you're alone with your doubts. You're alone with your fears. You're alone with your thoughts. You're alone. You might feel alone also. So, this metamorphosis that we're going through right now, it's kind of like, it's like the little boy who runs in the backyard and comes across a caterpillar, runs into the house saying, Mommy, can I keep the caterpillar? The mom says, yes, as long as you care for it. You take care of the caterpillar. She gives him a mason jar. He puts the caterpillar in the mason jar, fills it full of leaves so the caterpillar could eat, puts a tree branch in there to get some exercise, and the caterpillar starts eating those leaves, right? And it's starting to grow and grow and grow. That's what caterpillars do. One day, though, as the boy is watching the caterpillar, he climbs up the tree branch and he starts spinning a cocoon around itself, And what happens is the boy's just waiting patiently. And for me, patience, when people say patience, for me, patience isn't passively waiting. For me, when it comes to your life and your dreams, for me, patience is maintaining a positive attitude while we keep working. All right, the goal is you imagine what you want the most, you visualize it, you see it, you hear it, you believe in it, and you work daily for it, right? And so the boy, though, is getting impatient and just sees the cocoon, nothing's happening. But one day he sees a creature start to kind of burrow out of the cocoon, but it's struggling and it's struggling and struggling. So the boy gets impatient, runs into the home, grabs scissors, walks back outside because he was told not to run with scissors, and he clips the hole open, and out comes out this creature. But it doesn't look quite like a butterfly. It has a very swollen body, and it has the wings are very shriveled, and it never takes flight. And the boy is misty and crying, and he goes in and asks his mother what happened, and he explains what he did is cut it open, and the mother says, when you did that, it's when the creature is coming through that small tiny hole that it pushes the swelling from its body into its wings, and it nourishes the wings so the wings can get strong, and it's through that struggle that the butterfly has its strength. And if you feel like you're struggling right now, here are 5 things that you could do small simple steps with. Small simple steps. Facebook, if it's frozen, maybe refresh. So if you're watching this on Facebook specifically and it's frozen, just refresh it. And I apologize for that. I'm doing the best we can with this, with the limited, with what's going on right now in New York City, in terms of bandwidth and internet. But here's the thing: when going through this struggle, there's 5 C's you could focus on. Okay, number 1 is clarity. Solitude is a wonderful time for self-reflection. So where can you check in with yourself? Sometimes when you're going 100 miles an hour, you don't have time to check in to see if you're going in the right direction. So this is solitude. It's a wonderful time to check in with yourself. And here's the magic question. What's most important to me in life? What's most important to me in my career? What's most important to me in a relationship? Where I am right now? What's most important to me in impact or in my business, right? Get those values. And once you have the clarity on that, that's the first C, is clarity. The second question you ask is, are my actions aligned with those values? Because if you're self-sabotaging, you're taking one step forward and 3 leaps back, it's maybe because you're going against what's important to you, right? So get clarity and check in. The second C, besides clarity, maybe people could write this down. Again, if you're just joining us, my name is Jim Kwik, author of Limitless. The book comes out today. This is my virtual book party, and I'm answering some of your burning questions in a moment, but we're giving away prizes as you engage here in the comments. The second question you ask is, again, are my actions aligned with my values? Second C is care. We know that self-care is not selfish. We know that self-care is not selfish. Let me make sure this is still going. So the screen is frozen. Let me try something real quick. Okay, I know you're here. Self-care is not selfish. Let me check my internets real quick. I appreciate your patience. We know that self-care is not selfish. And so how can you not just focus on physical hygiene, but also mental hygiene as well? Here we go. Mental hygiene. So we know we should wash our hands, that you should physically distance yourself, but what about your mental hygiene? What are you putting in and feeding your mind? Here we go one more time. Because here's the thing, if you focus on just everything that you fear, then that becomes your reality. And I'm sorry if you're watching this on Facebook. Here we go. All right. Ask any questions, by the way, here as we are engaged here on Instagram, because we have a few minutes on Instagram left. And so I want to be supportive of you. And I appreciate you're with me right now. Here we go. Okay. Prizes here. Yes, we are giving out prizes. If you're watching this right now, you're going to be contacted by someone on my team. All right, let's just finish this on Instagram. The care is where you prioritize yourself. Part of self-care is knowing when you say yes to somebody or something, you're not saying no to yourself. That sometimes self-care is setting borders and boundaries around the things that matter. Your time, your heart, your attention, and that would be extremely important. So make sure you do that. The third C is contribution, which we talked about. How can you use your time, your talent, your treasure to be able to make a difference? For us, we do things like this. For things we donate All right, if you're just joining us, again, my name is Jim Kwik of Kwik Learning. I'm here to help you learn quickly, and we are celebrating the launch of my brand new book called Limitless, and I'm in New York City. Contribution is important. So contribution is the third C. The fourth C you have clarity, you have care, you have contribution, and creativity. Did you know it was during the Great Plague that Shakespeare wrote Macbeth? Did you know it was when they shut down London, the university there, that Isaac Newton had to go home? And that's when the apple fell on his head. He came out with the theories of gravity and the theory of motion. what can you create? What have you always wanted to create? That blog, those videos, that online program, that art, that music, what have you always wanted to create? Because this could be a creative time for you. And then finally, the 5 C's to cocooning. You have clarity, you have care, you have contribution, you have creativity, and finally, you have capabilities. Where can you level up? You have your to-do list, but do you have your to-be list? Do you have your to-feel list? And do you have a to-learn list? What's on the top of your to-learn list? And we have unfettered access to the world's information. So what do you want to learn? Spanish, salsa, speed reading, everything is online, right? And so what have you always wanted to learn? And I think if there's one capability to level up on, if there was a genie who could grant you any one wish, but just one wish, what would you wish for? Besides being limitless. You would ask for limitless wishes, right? That's what everyone would ask for, limitless wishes. Well, if I was your learning genie and I could grant you any one wish to learn any one subject or any one skill better, what would the equivalent be of asking for limitless wishes? It would be learning how to learn. Because if you can learn how to learn, you could grant all your own wishes. You could apply that towards money, Mandarin, martial arts, marketing, management, music, and everything in your life gets easier. And that's my wish for you, is that you learn how to learn. When I was labeled a boy with a broken brain and I struggled all through school, I wish when I wrote this book, I wrote this for like my 9-year-old self and my 19-year-old self. I wish this was the textbook. School is a great place to learn what to learn and what to focus on and what to think and what to study and what to remember and what to read, but they don't necessarily show you how to learn and how to study and how to focus and how to speed read it and remember it, how to remember things, and that's what this book does. It'll grant you the wish of learning how to learn. And again, in a world that's so dynamic, that is ever changing, where the half-life of information, the day, we're changing by the day, right? How do you step into that place? And I believe, my core belief is that your ability to learn is limitless, that there are no limits, that the sky is not the limit is in your mind, and it's one of those boxes. So if you're looking, as we conclude this, as you're looking at this limitless model, these 3 parts here, let me just make sure you can see it, these 3 parts here of the book, mindset, motivation, and methods, where mindset and motivation cross over, you have inspiration, right? And so you have mindset books and mindset speakers and motivational books and motivational speakers, and where they intersect, you have inspiration. You have inspirational speakers, you have inspirational books, you have inspirational movies. And what do? They partly change your mindset and they give you a little bit of energy and motivation, right? But you don't know what to do because you lack the methods. And where mindset and methods come together, by the way, more winners here. I'm on Instagram, and God, there's so many here. I don't think we broke Facebook, but Instagram, Jasmine, Jasmine, Manifesting Missa, also Sanjeev. We have a lot of winners here. Daz, Sparky, all new winners. We're gonna be sending books, shirts, and online programs to people, and be messaging you, so just stay tuned for that. Or message, if I called your name, message us at Kwik Learning also as well. And so it's just you engaging here in the comments. Just a part of learning is not a spectator sport, right? Learning is, in school they taught you to be passive. You're there and a teacher lectures to you, right? That's kind of 20th century education. But the problem is that's passive, and the human brain does not learn through consumption. The human brain learns through creation. The human brain does not learn just by consuming information. It learns by being creative and be the creative process. That's how we learn the best. And so by creating and making notes and engaging with people, that's what we're rewarding for people, to show up and play full out. And so where mindset crosses over with methods, you have the mindset, everything is possible, and the methods of what to do. That's ideation. So whereas mindset and motivation is inspiration, mindset crossing over with methods is ideation. And then finally, where motivation crosses over with methods, you're motivated, you're driven, small, simple steps, you have energy, a purpose, and you know what to do, the methods, that's implementation. Implementation, that's the third I. Because you're still going to be stuck in that box, because without the mindset, you're only going to be able to achieve what you believe is possible and what you believe you deserve. And that's the lesson there. Now, where all three M's and all three I's come together, that is integration. And that is the limitless state. That is integration, which is the limitless state. Integration, like integer or integral, means to become whole. And that's where that's your whole self, your limitless self. And the promise of this book, as you read this book, is to be able to unlimit your mindset. See, here's the thing. You don't downgrade your dreams to meet this current situation. Upgrade your mindset, your motivation, and your methodology to be able to meet your destiny. That's the onus. That's the lesson here, that you are responsible. You are 100% responsible for your life. That maybe your past helped form your life, but you're responsible for your life today and moving forward. Remember the quote in the book, life is the C between B and D. B is birth, D is death, C is choice. And we make small choices in our care, in our clarity, in our contribution, small little steps, small simple steps in our creativity. You don't have to do like 8-9 hours of creativity. You could do 9 minutes of writing, that music, or 9 minutes of self-care, meditation, or 5 minutes of contribution, calling and Zooming a neighbor that might be a little bit lonely, and it puts you out of that fear into some place where you feel, more service and gratitude. So my hopes for you, and we will do this again, I promise. We're at the top of the hour. I'm sorry about the Facebook dropping because of the internet here in New York City. My lesson for you is this, a couple of things. When I'm using the metaphor of a butterfly, because we learn through metaphors, is first of all, isn't it interesting? You want to have calm, you want to have confidence. I'm not really great with heights. I had 3 traumatic brain injuries. One of them was off a rooftop. I was not very well supervised as a kid. I was just very active. And but you look at a butterfly up in the tree, and you wonder why that butterfly could be calm and confident, being that high up. Because I wouldn't if I'd switch places. And the reason why it's calm and confident is not because it puts its trust in that tree branch. That butterfly is calm and confident because it puts its trust in its own wings. I think the journey we're on is really a journey of self-discovery. This limitless journey we're on is that of knowing yourself, trusting yourself, loving yourself, and being yourself. Right? Knowing yourself is different than being yourself. So you can do all the self-reflection on who you are and what your beliefs are, what your values are, who your identity is. They say the 2 most powerful words in the English language are I am, because whatever comes after that determines your life and your destiny, if you will. But also once you know yourself, have the courage to step into that person that you really are. And forget about everyone else's expectations, right? Because when the caterpillar feels like the world is over, that it's just begun. It becomes that butterfly. And there's a butterfly effect. We know that a butterfly flapping its wings in LA could create a tsunami of change across the world, because we're all connected. Even what's going on in the world right now proves it, right? That we're connected. Viruses and fear are all contagious. So is positivity. So is performance. So is compassion. So is love. So is kindness. And that stuff is free. So is wisdom. Spread it everywhere. And sprinkle that stuff everywhere, right? So in the thoughts of the butterfly, spread your wings, believe in yourself, imagine what you want most, see it, feel it, trust it, and then work daily for it. And for any of you who want to go on this journey with me and continue it, we are starting a book club in the month of May. After everybody gets their book, we're going to meet like this once a week. And there are 4 sections to the book. There are 5 sections actually, but we're going to spend 4 weeks going through each of these sections. And I'm going to show you how I would read it, how to remember it, and most importantly, how to apply it. Because knowledge is not power, it's only potential power. It only becomes power when we act. And just take a small, simple step. What is the tiniest action you could take when we're finished with this conversation? And maybe it's going to limitlessbook.com and gifting the book to somebody else. Because who do you know in your life that could use a little bit of limitlessness in their day? Because what you could do in your day and be in your day is absolutely limitless. And I want to thank you for celebrating my book party today and being part of this this celebration. But really, I'm celebrating you because you're the hero in this book, and I wrote this book for you. And it's just like Wizard of Oz, when you have the godmother, the fairy. They're talking about, you know, that Dorothy had the power the entire time, right? It was within her the entire time, and you know, the good witch, that she just had to learn it for herself. And I'm saying you have the power. You are limitless. And thank you for supporting this book. I hope I get to see you in the book club when it starts. All information is on limitlessbook.com. You'll be notified if you already pre-order the book there, and maybe gift it to somebody else. And you get 2 bonus chapters: Limitless for kids, Limitless for students, and Limitless for your team and your organization if you work for a company or you have a team yourself. And you get the 10-day audio video program summary of the book at limitlessbook.com. Thank you for allowing me to serve you as the boy formerly known as the boy with a broken brain. Our mission for our team is to build better, brighter brains. And thank you for allowing us to do that. I wish your days feel lots of life, lots of love, lots of laughter, and always lots of learning. Take care. Thank you.